That most people have never seen anything like it. This murderous regime also recently killed 45,000 of their own people who were protesting in Iran. 45,000
Dang,
dead.
you could have said Iraq right there.
For these terrorists to have nuclear weapons would be an intolerable threat. The most violent and thuggish regime on earth would be free to carry out their campaigns of terror, coercion, conquest, and mass murder from behind a nuclear shield. I will never let that happen, and neither should any of our past presidents. This situation has been going on for 47 years and should have been handled long before I arrived in office. I did many things during my 2 terms in office to stop the quest for nuclear weapons by Iran first. And perhaps most importantly, I killed General Qasem Soleimani in my first term. He was an evil genius, brilliant person, horrible human being, however, the father of the roadside bomb, and he lived.
There's Soleimani,
baby. Horrible what he did. Iran would have been perhaps a far better, stronger position. He lived. We would have had probably a different conversation tonight. But you know what? We'd still be winning and winning big. And then, very importantly, I terminated Barack Hussein Obama.
Barack Hussein Obama!
Obama gave them $1.7 billion in cash.
Barack Hussein Obama!
Cash.
They called me crazy! They called me nuts!
Maryland, all the cash they had. He flew it by airplanes in an attempt to buy their respect and loyalty, but it didn't work. They laughed at our president and went on with their mission to have a nuclear bomb. His Iran deal would have led to a colossal arsenal of massive nuclear weapons for Iran. They would have had them years ago, and they would have used them. It would have been a different world.
Obama.
There would have been no Middle East and no Israel right now, in my opinion, the opinion of a lot of great experts. Had I not terminated that terrible deal, and I was so honored to do it. I was so proud to do it. It was so bad right from the beginning.
We need a little committee.
Essentially, I did what no other president was willing to do. They made mistakes, and I am correcting them. My first preference was always the path of diplomacy, yet the regime continued their relentless quest for nuclear weapons and rejected every attempt at an agreement.
For sure.
For this reason, in June, I ordered a strike on Iran's key nuclear facilities, an Operation Midnight Hammer. Nobody's ever seen anything like it. Those beautiful B-2 bombers performed magnificently. We totally obliterated those nuclear sites. The regime then sought to rebuild their nuclear program at a totally different location, making clear they had no intention of abandoning their pursuit of nuclear weapons. They were also rapidly building a vast stockpile of conventional ballistic missiles and would soon have had missiles that could reach the American homeland, Europe, and virtually any other place on Earth.
Europe or other place?
Iran's strategy was so obvious. They wanted to produce as many missiles as possible, and they did, with the longest range possible, and they had some weapons that nobody believed they had. We just learned that out. We took them out. We took them all out so that no one would really dare stop them. And their race for a nuclear bomb, a nuclear weapon like nobody's ever seen before. They were right at the doorstep. For years, everyone has said that Iran cannot have nuclear weapons. But in the end, those are just words if you're not willing to take action when the time comes.
Okay.
As I stated in my announcement of Operation Epic Fury, our objectives are very simple and clear. We are systematically dismantling the regime's ability to threaten America or project power outside of their borders. That means eliminating Iran's Navy, which is now absolutely destroyed, hurting their Air Force and their missile program at levels never seen before, and annihilating their defense industrial base. We've done all of it. Their Navy is gone. Their Air Force is gone. Their missiles are just about used up or beaten. Taken together, these actions will cripple Iran military, crush their ability to support terrorist proxies, and deny them the ability to build a nuclear bomb. Our armed forces have been extraordinary. There's never been anything like it militarily. Everyone is talking about it, and tonight I'm pleased to say that these core strategic objectives are nearing completion. As we celebrate this progress, we think especially of the 13 American warriors who have laid down their lives in this fight to prevent our children from ever having to face a nuclear Iran. Twice this past month, I've traveled to Dover Air Force Base. And it's been something. I wanted to be with those heroes as they return to American soil. And I was with them and their families, their parents, their wives, their husbands. We salute them, and now we must honor them by completing the mission for which they gave their lives. And every single one of the people, their loved ones said, please, sir, please finish the job. Every one of them. And we are going to finish the job, and we're going to finish it very fast. We're getting very close. I want to thank our allies in the Middle East, Israel, Saudi Arabia, Qatar, the UAE, Iraq, Kuwait, and Bahrain. They've been great, and we will not let them get hurt or fail in any way, shape, or form. Many Americans have been concerned to see the recent rise in gasoline prices here at home. This short-term increase has been entirely the result of the Iranian regime launching deranged terror attacks against commercial oil tankers and neighboring countries that have nothing to do with the conflict. This is yet more proof that Iran can never be trusted with nuclear weapons. They will use them, and they will use them quickly. It would lead to decades of extortion, economic pain, and instability worse than we can ever imagine. The United States has never been better prepared economically to confront this threat. You all know that we built the strongest economy in history. We're going through it right now, the strongest in history. In 1 year, we've taken a dead and crippled country. I hate to say that, but we were a dead and crippled country after the last administration, and made it the hottest country anywhere in the world by far, with no inflation, record-setting investments coming into the United States, over $18 trillion, and the highest stock market ever, with 53 all-time record highs in just 1 year. It all positioned us to get rid of a cancer that has long simmered. It's known as the nuclear Iran, and they didn't know what was coming. They've never imagined it. Remember, because of our Drill Baby Drill program, America has plenty of gas. We have so much gas. Under my leadership, we are number one producer of oil and gas on the planet, without even discussing the millions of barrels that we're getting from Venezuela.
Venezuela
because
again.
of the Trump administration's policies, we produce more oil and gas than Saudi Arabia and Russia combined.
Russia!
Think of that, Saudi Arabia and Russia combined. And that number will soon be substantially higher than that.
Dude, excursion,
there's no country like us
cents?
anywhere in the world. And
what?
We're in great shape for the future. The United States imports almost no oil through the Hormuz Strait and won't be taking any in the future. We don't need it. We haven't needed it, and we don't need it. We've beaten and completely decimated Iran. They are decimated, both militarily and economically and in every other way. And the countries of the world that do receive oil through the Hormuz Strait must take care of that passage. They must cherish it. They must grab it and cherish it. They can do it easily. We will be helpful, but they should take the lead in protecting the oil that they so desperately depend on. So to those countries that can't get fuel, many of which refuse to get involved in the decapitation of Iran, we had to do it ourselves. I have a suggestion. Number one, buy oil from the United States of America. We have plenty. We have so much. And number two, build up some delayed courage. Should have done it before. Should have done it with us, as we asked. Go to the strait and just take it. Protect it. Use it for yourselves. Iran has been essentially decimated. The hard part is done, so it should be easy. And in any event, when this conflict is over, the strait will open up naturally. It'll just open up naturally. They're going to want to be able to sell oil because that's all they have to try and rebuild. It will resume the flowing, and the gas prices will rapidly come back down. Stock prices will rapidly go back up.
There's stock prices.
They haven't come down very much, frankly.
I'm out of NATO.
They came down a little bit, but they've had some very good days over the last couple of days. We've done actually much better than I thought.
He was just talking about NATO.
They were talking about little journey to Iran to get rid of this horrible threat. With our historic tax cuts, where people are just now talking about receiving larger refunds than they ever thought possible.
I'm on no NATO. I'm on no NATO now.
So much more money than they thought. That's from the great big beautiful bill. Our economy is strong and improving by the day, and it will soon be roaring back like never before. It will top the levels that it was a month ago. I've made clear from the beginning of Operation Epic Fury that we will continue until our objectives are fully achieved. Thanks to the progress we've made, I can say tonight that we are on track to complete all of America's military objectives shortly, very shortly.
No ceasefire here.
We're going to hit them extremely hard over the next 2 to 3 weeks. We're going to bring them back to the Stone Ages where they belong.
The Stone Ages.
In the meantime, discussions are ongoing. Regime change was not our goal. We never said regime change, but regime change has occurred because of all of their original leaders' death. They're all dead. The new group is less radical and much more reasonable. Yet if during this period of time no deal is made, we have our eyes on key targets. If there is no deal, we are going to hit each and every one of their electric generating plants very hard and probably simultaneously. We have not hit their oil, even though that's the easiest target of all, because it would not give them even a small chance of survival or rebuilding. But we could hit it, and it would be gone, and there's not a thing they could do about it. They have no anti-aircraft equipment. Their radar is 100% annihilated. We are unstoppable as a military force. The nuclear sites that we obliterated with the B-2 bombers have been hit so hard that it would take months to get near the nuclear dust, and we have it under intense satellite surveillance and control. If we see them make a move, even a move, we'll hit them with missiles very hard again. We have all the cards, they have none. It's very important that we keep this conflict in perspective. American involvement in World War I lasted 1 year, 7 months, and 5 days. World War II lasted for 3 years, 8 months, and 25 days. The Korean War lasted for 3 years, 1 month, and 2 days.
War in Japan?
The Vietnam War lasted for 19 years,
Iraq War?
5 months, and 29 days. Iraq went
Yes!
on for 8 years, 8
The
months,
Iraq
and
War.
28
Okay, I got
days.
lucky there. I got
We
so
are in
lucky
this
there.
military operation
That was
so
not the way I
powerful,
thought it was going to
brilliant,
hit.
against one of the most powerful countries for 32 days. And the country has been eviscerated and essentially is really no longer a threat. They were the bully of the Middle East, but they're the bully
Now there's
no
peace.
longer. This is a true investment in your children and your grandchildren's future. The whole world is watching, and they can't leave the power, strength, and brilliance. They just can't believe what they're seeing. They leave it to your imagination, but they can't believe what they're seeing. The brilliance of the United States military. Tonight, every American can look forward to a day when we are finally free from the wickedness of Iranian aggression and the specter of nuclear blackmail. Because of the actions we have taken, we are on the cusp of ending Iran's sinister threat to America and the world. And I'll tell you, the world is watching. And when we do, when it's all over, the United States will be safer, stronger, more prosperous, and greater than it has ever been before.
Okay.
May God bless the men and women of the United States Armed Forces, and may God bless the United States of America. Thank you very much, and good night.
Oh my God, that's it. Low. That's it. Oh my God, he pulled it. Oh, that's it. Let's go. That's it. It's over 18 minutes now? That felt so short. Is that over 18? Are 21 and above. People aren't even sure. People aren't even bonding. Oh my God, look at this price movement on 19 or above. I'm guessing it wasn't 19 minutes long. Oh my God, people are fighting in the order books. Boys. Let's go. Let's go. That did feel really short. I was still expecting, dude, no NATO. No NATO is insane. Oh my God, it's about a bond. It's about a bond. 19 or above. Holy shit, the NATO dodge was insane. He also dodged Khamenei. Khamenei was the one I was holding on for yes. But holy shit, boys. Let's fucking go. Let's fucking go. Bang. Bang. Let's fucking go! 2K! Holy shit! What a fucking announcement, Trump! What an announcement! That's my president! Oh my God!
Ah, there it is. And after a half hour later, we finally have audio. Jeez. Thank you guys so much for bearing with me. Oh my goodness. We're working on it, but I think the setup worked. Let's turn off Laxi for a second. All right. Trump just finished his address. It was roughly about 18 minutes long. I think most of the contracts that I had out closed. Honestly, I was really surprised with the length of time he was out there. I figured he'd be up there a little bit more. But from what I can tell, the overall oil futures did not like that. So let's check that out for a second. Let me bring that up, and then I'll bring you with me. Let's see. Okay. Give me 1 second. We'll bring it up. That one. Here we go. All right. So let's check out the overall market and see how they reacted. Oh my good. Is this right now? Oh, geez. That's a huge candle. My God, that's 15 minutes. Okay, let's back this up. Everything's loading. So you can tell it's freaking out just like I am. All right, give me 1 second. Oh my goodness. So okay, I was really surprised he spoke for so short. I thought President Trump was gonna be up there at least a half hour. So I lost a little bit on that. But it seems like my puts for tomorrow will be doing a good job. Oh my God, that is massive. That is a huge turnaround. Looks like we're coming in for another red Thursday. So that's good for some if you were anticipating it, and bad for others if you weren't. So if that's down, then the crude oil must be up. Holy cow. Okay, crude oil's back above $103 a barrel. Oh man, that is a huge, huge candle. Okay, so it doesn't seem like the markets liked what President Trump said. As you can tell, it's reacting very adversely to it. That seems probably due to the amount of time that we're in there. And this is right now. So I can anticipate the rest of the overall market is going to feel this tomorrow. The SPY's trading right now too. Let's check that. Oh man, that is the biggest 1 hour candle we got since this one here. March 29th. Oh. Well, we're going to see how this goes the rest of the evening, see how the markets digest more of this. I don't anticipate it's going to be very good. So, from what I've been reading, the markets are really uncertain, as you can tell. They're certain it's going to go down at least for a little while. But with that, I'm also reading that we have American and U.S. talks, or what they say are talks happening, and then you have the Iranian side, who is also saying that they're not having talks. So we don't really know, even as far as news researchers, we don't know which one is the truth. We like to follow the market, and the market tends to tell us before a lot of other things happen. But it seems like, at least for the moment, it's turning around. Now, we got some massive movement over the last few days. I mean, there was a bit of a double bottom down here, as you can kind of tell. Like, it was just refused, almost to the penny, right? We got a refusal right here, and that's at 629, and then another one roughly about here, 628, 629. See, so this is the double bottom we're looking for. Now, this is a good area to kind of look at, because I anticipate that this here will continue down towards this area here and retest this area and see if it's really sure that it can get out of here. So I'm not 100% sure if that's the case, because we're going to be there a little bit longer as far as the talks go. I mean, you guys just saw President Trump talk there for a little while. Now that I'm back on the mic, thank you so much for bearing with me. Obviously, I had a lot of technical difficulties through that first 15 minutes of the pod. That now we've got everything rolling, and I'm happy to be with you. Artemis 2 also took a launch today. As you can tell, I got my NASA on, and hopefully they see aliens while they're out there on the moon, because we got 18% chance aliens being confirmed this year, which is pretty high for the fact that we have no for sure evidence. There's a lot of speculation, obviously, right? We all want aliens or don't want aliens, right? They're equally it's an equally disconcerting thought on each side, whether there are aliens or there are no aliens, right? Equally is, each one is just as scary. These lines aren't as pretty as I'd like them to be. I'm going to do it on the future, see what those lines look like, rather than me having to go and redo them all. We'll see how close the lines that we drew over the last couple of weeks. But if you guys have been following along, it's been about 2 weeks from when I said that markets have sort of confirmed a direction, and that direction is definitely downward. So 2 weeks from that point, and we're definitely getting a massive confirmation. I'm going to elongate the length of the candle here, but it seems like I was a lot more optimistic, because I haven't moved these red lines since I drew them, and you can see that it seems like the top line was pretty correct, right? It refused to go up towards that top line, but now this bottom line is just getting tested over and over and over and over, to the point where I think I should just draw a secondary position or a secondary trend line, just so we can kind of see what's happening. So I want to say it looks like about here, from here through there to here. Like that's more accurate. I think I'll bring this down a bit. Yeah, something about oh wait, here. So that's the other line it broke through. So it kind of starts off on this point here, and it seems like that's the overall testing area. Now it broke through this testing area and it came back, and it ripped back pretty hard, and then it came back into this trend box that we drew, and then it came back down. Now this overall time span was not very long. This was over a couple of days. If you were watching the markets had 2 good days in a row, or 2 green days. Yesterday was great. Today finished good-ish. But I'm looking at momentum here, and it doesn't look like there's an overall momentum change at all. Like we're getting some bounce backs, some rallies, but I'd say still be cautious until we get an overall steady flat line or slightly trending up. I would say still kind of watch and keep your eyes open for opportunities to pick up a little bit here, pick up a little bit there. So if the S&P 500 here took this big dip, or this big downward candle here, and then the crude oil futures are up, right? You got up here, down here. They're tied together right now. I don't love that, but for a lot of markets and a lot of people in the world, that energy matters, right? And it affects the overall cost basis of everything. Here on the island, we're seeing gas prices go back up towards, I want to say $5.79 is where I saw it in town today, and it got as low as $5.69 as I saw recently, and I can see it shooting back up to $6 again because of the prices going up again, the uncertainty is still staying up. Micro crude oil futures are staying above $100 a barrel right now. All right, we'll keep this in our brain here for a second, and we'll bring up the crude oil futures. Excuse me. All right. So we're still pretty much inside of this trend channel, right? From between here at 86 and here at the highs of 100 or so, right? So it didn't get any lower than 86. So that seems like a pretty good refusal area. So what I'm thinking is if it gets below 86 and stays there, I would anticipate that the markets will continue to rally and rally up, because that's kind of the stable area that we were at, slowly trending upwards toward there. But I think that's a functioning amount of cost per barrel. I'm also reading today that the Iranian government's considering charging tolls, like a toll per barrel, like $1 for this country, $2 for that country, and if you negotiate better, I guess you get better access. Now that's not completely opening the strait, but that at least gives us a chance to reassess our cost basis of getting more energy for the countries that need them. So since it was closed, those countries just couldn't have it. Now that it's open for a fee, at least those countries can pay a little bit, but also open up their gas stations, like the Philippines or Australia. They're both dealing with just closures of gas stations. We got lots of Asian countries dealing with a bit of an energy crisis. This week also, the Nikkei from Japan took a pretty decent downturn, and I think came back up a little bit, but the markets are so violent, and you really can kind of tell how important the oil is, and how important the energy is to each of these countries as a whole, right? This is one narrow area, and there's a lot of other energy that comes out of that area too. We're looking at liquid natural gas. We're also looking at another access point for oil as well. There's another strait farther, I want to say southwest of it, right? Because you have the Suez Canal to the north of that strait that I can't remember right now. But the Suez Canal, they're considering restricting some of the access in and out of there as well. So as you can tell in the actual overall futures, the markets aren't happy yet. We haven't broken down under this area down here at 86.31. This green line is what we're looking for a good market. And right now, since it's nowhere near that green line, we're still in sort of a choppy market, uncertain market. And I think once we get down to an overall, I want to say bottom, but honestly, there's not really a clear example of what a bottom could even look like right now, or what the overall crisis de-escalation system would look like. I'm optimistic that within the next few weeks that it'll come down, because we're hearing 2 to 3 weeks, right? Then we're out whether the strait is open or not. But why not just start moving people out of there like Monday, right? Why do we have to do 2 to 3 weeks from now? So looking forward into April, it looks like somewhere about the third week of April to the beginning of May is where we're looking for some decent rebounding, maybe some decent de-escalation, and then we can get back to business as usual. On that note, business as usual is still not necessarily great. We're in a midterm year, and the research tells me that midterm years tend to do an average of 15.5% from high peak to lowest point in that year. And it could go higher or lower, right? This is the average that I'm thinking of. So we're not quite there yet. Like from peak to trough, we are only down about 10%. Let's double check here. We'll go back to I meant the futures, but I guess the SPY will come up first. Give me the futures. Hawaii, our internet is slow. My Wi-Fi is even slower, so thank you for bearing with me. And if you haven't had a chance yet, if you're following because of the podcast, my YouTube channel actually has a lot of other content. If you're looking for something more outdoorsy, if you can't touch grass or you're stuck in a place with bad weather, I've got some archery videos up if you want to pretend you're outside for a moment. All right, here we go. We're back to I'll put on the day candle just so we can kind of see what's going on. Because I'm looking for trends, right? Looking for trends. Okay, I'm going to back up a bit. So if we were thinking it's going to be an average of 15% on a midterm year, then let's measure what we're at now from peak to trough. Right, so it looks like this, the high of about 7,000, and this particular low of 6,300. What is that? Seven? That's about 10.5%, right? So this is kind of correction territory, is this bottom here, and then it ripped back up. We're gonna kind of squeeze this out a little bit so we can kind of see, and bring you back this way. Whoops. Okay. Here we go. All right, so you can see here that this is not the full extent of the average. Now, this might be the amount of downturn we have for the year. We might have a great year where this is what we get for midterm year. Usually the midterm hits after the midterms happen, right? So this is before the midterm. So we're almost getting a pre-test. So we might end up with a bit of a double bottom situation. So based on time frame, it took us a month to get from, or month or more, maybe 8 weeks, to get from the highs of the year to the current lows of the year, and a little off the lows of the year. So that was a month. So let's say we have another month to sort of get out of this place. If this is the bottom, which it might not be, we have another month to get out of this place. Then midterms show up, right? Then that stuff's happening. Then we might end up going back down and down farther, right? So this may not be the end as far as the lowest point for the year. This just may be the end of this, or coming to a conclusion of this particular dip for the year. So let's keep our eyes on that. Let's not get too bullish for the year. Let's keep our eyes on the overall statistics and the high probability chances that this is what tends to happen. Okay. Let's see if we got any correction over the last few minutes on the crude oil futures. Talking about a huge candle, though, for that moment. Oh my gosh, we got another leg up from that. Oh geez. Okay, so we officially tested 104. And this is currently trading right now, as you can see down here in the corner. These are the prices that people are expecting in. And it's not pretty. Like, we got a lot of action going on right now, because after the Trump talks, people wanted some clarity, some de-escalation, and some overall idea of what the plan is to get out of there. And as you can see here, it didn't seem like the markets liked any of that. The plan wasn't good enough, and we are now in the slog of it. Now, I don't think we're going to correct at all tomorrow. I mean, there's nothing really he can say that he couldn't have said today. So this might just be an overall precursor to what we're expecting tomorrow, which is a pretty severely red day. So if we were to just kind of guesstimate, let's look at the SPY real fast. We're going to check on some retracements here. Now, just for an overall idea, because of, like I said, it's in a previous pod, this is a pretty large indice. So those indices tend to work on a pretty large average. Oh my goodness. That is just awful. That is off a cliff, everybody. My gosh. And it's that tapped, what is the low here? It tapped. Oh man. I mean, it'll retrace for a second, but this is 655. Oh man. And it was up here at, that's over 100, almost 100 handles. Oh Lord. Okay. And it doesn't seem like it wants to fix itself. It's still staying on that side. All right, we're going to keep watching this for a moment while I do this retracement. Okay, so here's the bottom. Here's the top. Okay. Let's see what it gives us. All right, we're kind of in that retracement area, right? It's coming back to this middle here, right? Sort of like the crude oil futures. It's gonna hit a top. Oh, why is that so high? Okay. If you would just stay there, that would be great. I'm trying to move the entirety of you. Okay, here we go. Okay, so here, I'd expect us to get back to 64 and test this area here then. That's what I'm looking at, because this seems like we're at a pretty... Now, I'm going to use the term support very loosely, because that's about as supportive as balsa for flooring. So it may test here. It might break right through it. It might just be like, we're done. That's it. The markets are like, I'm over it. This is not going to be anything good for the next few weeks, and we could continue to see a massive return, a massive downfall. Because we tried. We came down. We came back up to that. This almost the same area here, and then we got those talks, and it's just right out of the sky. So now that we're looking at this, look at the retracement wise, yeah, we're gonna get at least to this white line, maybe tonight even. Who knows what the night will be? I doubt any more talks will come up now. It was 9 o'clock their time. It's only 3:45 my time, so I've been on the air about 45 minutes with a working microphone, roughly about 30 of those minutes. All right. Let's see. So I don't expect it to be good tomorrow. I want to be optimistic, but I haven't banked on optimism, not since, I don't know, 2 or 3 weeks ago. Once we got a full-on confirmation of trend. Now, though, with the retracement happening, short weekend, I want to remind you guys, if you don't already know this, tomorrow is the last trading day of this week. There's no trading Friday. It's a 3-day weekend, so please enjoy yourselves. And maybe I'll do a pod coming Friday anyway. But most likely we'll just revisit this tomorrow and see how the day closed tomorrow, because that's what we're really looking at, is how the day closed and if there were any movement afterwards. Because we all know that, well, we like to think that Trump likes to talk about bad things after the markets are closed, like he did today. He scheduled it for 9 o'clock, which was right after all the markets closed completely. There's only 24-hour markets left. With that sort of timing, you can kind of anticipate that he wasn't going to say something that everybody was going to like. As you can see here, it didn't go well for any of us. Okay. Now, with that being said, I want to be optimistic still, but tomorrow's still going to be red. We got 10 red days in a row, and that's hard to beat. So 10 Thursdays, or tomorrow will be the 10th Thursday that it's been red every week. Just the S&P 500 closed red, and that's pretty difficult to make happen, but it's also hard to calculate how impossible that is. So I'm anticipating it's just a pattern that's happening. There's a large number of sellers on a Thursday. Most likely we're going to get a large amount of selling because it's a short week. The volume was still pretty high for it being a short week. Sometimes weeks that have holidays in them tend to be a little bit shorter, but this week was still surprisingly busy volume-wise. People were still on bated breath to see what kind of de-escalation we might get, and it doesn't seem like we got any. I'm going to double check to see, just in case, if there's any more news coming up that I can give you before we close the pod. Thank you for coming with me on this journey. This was my very first time with this setup. I hope the audio and the visual is now of good enough quality to be up here hanging out with you guys. I want to bring you guys good content, and good content deserves a little bit of practice. So thank you so much. Here we go. What do we got as far as news goes? The usual. Let's see, Jim said something. The usual something. All right. Oh, man. Oof. Let's check out some stuff on this real fast. So if you guys don't follow some of these people on Twitter, please do, or X. It doesn't really matter. I don't care. I go back and forth as long as the thing gets said. But here's a good one. Could have been worse. This was pretty bad. We got Amit and Steven up here. That's amazing. All right, what else? Let's see if we got anything up to date. So, great job, buddy. Thank you for having it live so we could watch it with you. If you haven't watched it, you can recap it here. Oh, what did my boy say? What did we learn tonight? Nothing. Absolutely nothing. Oh, yeah, it was 18 minutes of hard to understand. Now, I spent a lot of those minutes trying to kill the studio gremlins in here. But after a little while, I think I got it. I'm figuring out all this stuff. If you guys know me, you know that technology is not my forte. But I'm a very quick study. I've got all the screens set up. I've got good visuals. I think it's working out real well here. All right. Trump's stock prices will rapidly go back up. No, I don't think so. Not tomorrow, at least. It might go back up later, but it's not going up today. Jeez. Okay, here we go. Let's see what TKL's got to say. Okay, as of 16 minutes ago, bond yields going back up. That is not good for us. Like I said last week, bond market yields being too high make our markets unsustainable and makes it too expensive. Things like housing goes up, cost of goods goes up. Everything gets too expensive. So we're always going to keep an eye on this. Right now, more both eyes rather than just like a side eye. Here, what else we got here? This is gold prices fall below 4,700 an ounce. Whoa. Okay, so that's interesting too. Historically speaking, gold and silver have been safe havens for war, but this recently, I don't know if it's because people were buying it ahead of time. People are taking those profits now that they made so much before this war started, and it's not a place to put your income right now. I don't know what kind of pricing we would get out of gold and silver the next 2 or 3 weeks. So just be cautious. Wait till we get a definite trend back upwards. I'm telling myself that too, because sometimes I don't listen and I'm like, we got it. We're back. We're not back, and we don't got it. Okay, S&P 500 futures, you raised $550 billion in market cap in 25 minutes as President Trump delivers his address to the nation on the Iran war. Oof. The entire market was expecting President Trump's address to the nation to be de-escalatory. I don't think so. Well, a lot of people were, yeah, but a lot of people were running on the back of this random rally we got yesterday and today. But the timing that he was scheduling this was a big indicator that something bad was happening. If it was good, he would have said it during the markets. So because it was bad, I'm not quite sure why he didn't wait till tomorrow evening to say this, because I think the markets would have continued the rally. I don't know. All right, here we got a summary of the overall talk that Trump had, the address to the nation. The Iran war will last another 2 to 3 weeks. The U.S. will strike Iranian power plants if no deal is reached. Core strategic objectives are close to completion in Iran. Not quite sure what the objectives were, and we don't know what close to completion is. The U.S. will bring Iran back to the Stone Age. Now, that is not good. The markets don't necessarily like attacking places that we need a lot of stuff from. And right now it shows how much oil we need from that country in that area. The U.S. will not import oil from the Strait of Hormuz in the future. Interesting. But there's a lot of other countries that do need it, so it's not something that matters a whole lot. Iran's navy is gone, and their air force is in ruins. And like we already looked at, oil prices surged to over 103, touched $104 a barrel after the speech. Whew. Talk about a crazy hour, right? Now that we've got a decent setup where I can just come in, talk to you guys, give you the information, and get on with the day, I'm going to be doing this a little bit more. So thank you so much for coming with me on this journey today. My first time showing you prediction markets, live mention markets. Let's have more fun with that. Now, with that being said, prediction markets and mention markets are not easy to trade. So it's fun to look at, but don't anticipate you're just going to figure it out right there on the spot. It takes a little bit of research. You got to know the person who's speaking, right? You got to know the context, and you got to understand that sometimes people aren't allowed to say certain things. Even though it's there, it's priced on the market, it's there on the feed, there are certain things that people will just avoid. Also, it's not new to these politicians that these markets exist, so sometimes they can just avoid saying things. Let's say the market's only got like say 5 mentions on this particular interview. That person can look at it and be like, I'm not going to say any of those things, right? So be careful in mention markets. Be careful with trading any kind of prediction markets. I used Kalshi today, but in prediction market news, SIBO Bank is introducing prediction markets as well. Now, they're not going to be what you think about now, where they have sports and pop culture, fashion, that sort of thing. What they're trying to bring is what it sounds like is a vehicle of education to bring people into trading options. So they want to introduce what is a spread. So, as you know, prediction markets is a binary trading system. Yes, no, that's it. But SIBO Bank wants to bring in a maybe, right? So I trade futures, and I also trade a lot of options. As an options trader, I like to trade spreads because I'm not always exact. And if you do archery like I do, sometimes you're trying to get it within a degree of accuracy, right? The pie pan from 20 yards for archers. And then for me as an options trader, I'm looking for a certain degree of maybe it's within this area. That's where the arrow will land, or where the price will land at the point or before the time of expiration. So SIBO Bank wants to bring that sort of thought process, and I'm kind of excited for that. Now they're going to be specializing in the S&P 500, right? So it's going to be mostly bank-related things, stock market-related stuff. But I'm loving the traction we're getting on prediction markets. It's good for everybody. It's good for you not necessarily as a trader of these markets, but it's good for you as a person who uses data. Because the Fed uses this data, banks use this data, I use this data, and then I use this data to trade. Because all of these data points have money behind them, they're a lot more accurate. Because I know if I'm paying for something, it's going to be the truth regardless, right? You don't take your money and lie a lot of the time, right? You're not going to, even because it's in the dark, right? No one knows you put this trade up. So there's no point in lying, right? Because your goal as an investor in these markets is to profit. All right. I think that's it for today. Now, as always, farewell. Be safe. Thank you so much for joining with me today in my new setup. It's going to get bigger and better as we go, more streamlined, more information. Please, if you see this later on, leave me some comments so I can give you content that you're looking for. Also, soon we're going to be introducing some interviews with local business owners, local CEOs, local real estate brokers. So keep your eyes open for that. I'm out here trying to bring as much entrepreneurial and money and investment information to my local community as I can. Hawaii is an expensive place. Investing is the best way to counteract not having anything, right? You make a lot of wealth there on the stock market, and now that the stock market's available for everybody and prediction markets are available for everybody, there's not really an excuse for you not to be able to at least invest. Now, the traditional style of investing is still good, right? You want to do retirement. Roth IRA, traditional IRA, even just buying some Bitcoin every week or every day, $10 a day, right? You just invest. Because what you're trying to do is pick an asset that grows. Because the assets we do have, like money, cars, they tend to depreciate a lot of the time, unless you invest more into them. Unless you're buying a Toyota. Toyotas only get more expensive. Ahui ho. Mahalo for joining me today, and I'll see you again soon.